Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Video Games. Doom Eternal, 2020, id Software. Doom Eternal is a first-person shooter game. Taking place shortly after the events of Doom 2016, the collapse of the UAC's Mars facility has resulted in Earth becoming the next target of Hell's armies. With humanity on the brink of extinction, one man stands between us and annihilation: the Doomslayer. As the Doomslayer, you must enter the wasteland of Earth and rip and tear until the demons are no more. So, I had talked about this game in my 2020 and 2021 year in reviews for the video games, but with Doom the Dark Ages approaching release, I decided to revisit Doom Eternal. Consider any comments I've made about this game in the past redacted. Shame on me. Shame, shame, shame. I say shame on me for not acknowledging Doom Eternal as the titanic achievement that it is. In every metric, Doom Eternal is a clear evolution and improvement over all of Doom 2016's elements. Ripping and tearing through demons remains as smooth to control and fast-paced as ever. You get your usual arsenal, but also get tons of new toys to use. Shotguns, miniguns, the BFG, your usual suspects all accounted for, but now you get a shoulder-mounted grenade launcher, a giant crossbow, and most importantly, a giant fucking sword. This is further expanded on in the DLC, when you also get a giant fucking hammer. Most importantly though, Doom Eternal is a much more challenging experience. New enemies abound in this game, and when you pile those things on top of the other enemies, it is absolute madness. One of the bosses, the Doom Hunter, a giant demon on a tank, becomes a normal enemy after fighting it, and fighting two of those things at once is a pain in the ass. Then there's the Marauder, who is this gladiator demon thing that has a shotgun and you have to time your attacks while dealing with other enemies. It is absolute fucking insanity. The DLC also introduces ghosts that possess enemies and buff them, as well as a variation of an enemy that inflicts a persistent damage effect on you. It's crazy. And then we have the bosses. The big boss battles are simple in concept, but will throw everything at you. Having to deal with hordes of enemies while using all of your abilities to take these bosses down can be frustrating, but it is an exhilarating challenge. The Conmaker boss battle requires you to do lots of platforming, and she'll start a deadly game of the floor is lava on your ass, all while her minions are firing on you constantly. Fighting Samuel Hayden in the DLC, I'll explain that when we get to the story. This boss is like 4 stages, and 2 of them involve fighting possessed enemies in order to break his shield. Playing this game on ultraviolence, hard difficulty, these enemies and bosses will rip you apart. Your reflexes have to be picture perfect, and you have to use every weapon at your disposal to subdue the armies of hell. The level design has evolved in so many ways from the foundations laid in Doom 2016. Sprawling and large are these levels still, but a new wrinkle was added to the gameplay that is probably the reason I love this game so much. First-person platforming. Normally, I detest first-person platforming. I find it nauseating and hard to control. But in this game, the platforming is as smooth as any dedicated platformer. The DLC builds on this by adding grappling hook sections to the game and even more complex platforming puzzles. This adds so much to the level design in general because the secrets are now that little bit more challenging to find. Along with being more numerous, you could get lost in each level for hours trying to find everything. Collectibles, secret fights, music, master levels. You can find so many hidden goodies in these worlds. Hell, even the multiplayer in this game is more thought out. Battle mode is a deathmatch variation where one player takes control of the Doom guy and the other players as demons. It's simplistic, but it reflects what Doom is. While I didn't play much of it when I first played Doom Eternal, or on this run, really. It certainly is more fun than whatever the fuck was happening in Doom 2016. There is also a horde mode where you can just mow down enemies in waves and do challenges and whatnot. That's the sort of mode you would expect in a Doom game, and while I didn't really touch it, I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure it's plenty of fun. A game that plays gorgeously also has to look gorgeous too, and Doom Eternal is fucking gorgeous. Doom Eternal, running on id Tech 7, makes sure this imaginative world looks as beautiful and detailed as possible. The demons are these hulking, skeletal, horn-bedecked, gun-toting monstrosities. I've always had a fondness for the Revenant with its, jetpack and shoulder-mounted rocket launchers. I think it looks very cool. The Marauder is this demonic hoss that looks like a twisted reflection of a Doom Marine. I mean, you do fight a literal clone of yourself in the game, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. The Urdak people, they might as well be called angels, really. They're really cool. They're skinny creatures with heads like a fucking hammerhead shark, bedecked in brightly colored robes. They are the sort of angels you would expect to see in a Doom game, especially the Con Maker. The environments are also a feast for the eyes. The ruins of Earth are sleekly put together, with tons of detail in every environment, showing cities, ocean facilities, Arctic bases, even the foliage of an Earth rebuilding itself in the DLC. Id's picture of an apocalypse is beautiful. We also have Urdak, which is full of ancient, bizarre buildings floating in space, as well as the ruins of Argent Dunur, which is a collection of destroyed architecture that feels like we are exploring the ruins of antiquity. Exploring these alien worlds is both rewarding due to level design, but scenic because of the art design. Now, because we have to talk about the music, I at least have to mention the elephant in the room. Personally, I don't want to detail the absolute clusterfucking that Mick Gordon went through with Bethesda and id. It would take way too fucking long. Suffice it to say, the score for this game doesn't necessarily feel like a cohesive product. The chunky pummeling riffs are there, for sure, and they are just as ferocious as ever. The score also ups the ambience, with my favorite pieces being one that sounds like drone metal composed by Sun, the guys with the 0 and the 3 brackets next to it. I don't know how to say that name. You know the band. Fuck it, whatever. Another piece I liked was the walking around music on Urdak, with these creepy girls singing la melodies and making everything in those levels super unnerving. Like, it's all well and good, but all the pieces themselves sounded a bit chopped together by someone who doesn't necessarily get music on a deeper level, because that's what fucking happened. Like, someone just started chopping things together. Blame the Corpo Stooges for that, though. Just blame them. What coherent ideas we did get in the score were pretty dope, though. Initially, the writing in this game turned me off a bit because I viewed it as a tad extra for a Doom game. This time around, though, I grew fond of its unabashed edginess. The escalation of stakes in this story was also combined with tongue-in-cheek self-awareness and a bit of a wicked sense of humor, and it brought a smile to my face. In terms of the former mentioned escalation of stakes, the whole heaven has a pact with hell gimmick was very fun, and one of the big twists is that Samuel Hayden and Vega are from heaven. Vega is literally just God. Through this 4-act story, the main game plus the DLC, you are basically annihilating heaven and hell's armies, and this war eventually ends with you fighting your satanic doppelganger, which is a very Doom thing to do. It also gives the Doom guy a cute ending to his story, what with him saving the day and going back into his tomb. May the blood on your sword never dry, and may we never need you again, was the quote at the end of the game, which in all fairness, goes fucking hard after all you've been through. It reminded me a bit of the end of Halo 3, the big hero finally being able to rest, at least until the next mission, of course. It may seem like mindless edge, but it is enhanced by the game's sense of humor. These guys knew how over the top this nonsense was and just played into it. Bringing those cute little moments from Doom 2016 right to the fore, the entire level on the base with the BFG 10,000 was absolutely iconic. The one shot of Doom Guy walking through the facility and everyone pissing their pants was excellent. The whole bit of, you can't blow a hole through Mars, holy shit, he's gonna blow a hole through Mars, had me fucking cackling. While searching through the ruins of Earth, you'll run into a bunch of automated messages from a UAC spokesperson that seem to have been possessed, escalating from snarky corporate slogans about the forces of hell to essentially just kill the fucker. I thought it was a nice little environmental gag, and it added a ton to the world. Much like id changed the face of gaming in 1993 with the original Doom, what id crafted with Doom Eternal is nothing short of legendary. Setting a new standard for the FPS genre, Doom Eternal is a challenging and heart-pounding experience that sends visceral feelings of joy into my body. Fast-paced combat and miraculously satisfying platforming is matched by levels full of secrets and replayability. On top of that, these boys crafted a visually striking world and wrote a barn burner of an action story. Even if they did Mick Gordon a little dirty, the music in this game still kicks ass. Doom Eternal is heavy metal incarnate. This game is an honest-to-God contender for Game of the Decade and might have a spot in my top 10 of all time. I know for sure, once I correct my 2020 list, it's runner-up for Game of the Year that year, behind Hades. And Ancient Gods might still be like Game of the Year for 2021. I don't know. We'll see. In a word, this game's a masterpiece. Play this fucking game. And you know what it is. 10 out of 10. Catch you later, guys.